maybe they should have had more balls and more gumption with Victor Gideon. Developed him a bit more. I feel like he could have just been the villain for the whole game. He didn't need Zeno.
Yeah, I thought that.
And then suddenly, he's pulling wheelies on a motorbike, firing rocket launchers. He's keeping up with Leon S. Kennedy in a motorbike chase. Yeah. And then, after all the sort of the aura he had in a horror sense, suddenly he's driving next to him going, "I've had enough of you." Resident Evil. Requiem. Doesn't actually say it in the start screen, does it?
No.
It says Resident Evil, which is also cool because on the PlayStation 5 it comes through the controller.
Yeah.
But it did it, and then I was like, Requiem. Where's
they like to mention it a lot in the game, though, don't they?
Well, Requiem. Yeah. I do like a double meaning where it's tied to the theme of like Requiem for the Dead. But then also, it's just the name of a gun. It could just be because of the gun.
Yeah, the most dangerous gun.
Yeah,
in the game.
That was a satisfying moment when it was just like switched to Requiem. Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was what the gun was called. Like
no, nor did I. No, yeah. Definitely.
Very sweet, very sweet. So we're back with the Full Fat Podcast. I'm here with Charlie, Chris Redfield himself, Charlie Redfield, Chaz Redfield,
and I'm here with Wesker himself.
7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I have to do this podcast.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be. So we'll be done.
Here I am, and you're wasting your time making jokes. I love that edit of American Psycho Christian Bale with like the Wesker hair.
I've seen that.
Oh, it's him going like, but it's
that's like...
That's fantastic. So funny, yeah. Fantastic.
Well, I think about it, Christian Bale in Equilibrium is kind of
Wesker
energy, isn't
it? Oh
it?
Yeah, with like the man Wesker. They need to bring back Wesker.
Well,
yeah. Oh yeah, actually at this point, full spoilers. Not only for Resident Evil Requiem, aka RE9, but I think generally across the franchise.
Yeah.
Maybe nicely to start off like what's our history of Resident Evil? Because we've actually never spoken about this on the podcast at all.
I think this is this the first on the podcast we've done a video game?
Yes, I think it is actually.
So this is very exciting.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. So my first Resident Evil, I think, is the same as yours, right?
Yeah.
RE4, the original RE4. Yeah. RE4 Remake is its own game. It's a different game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. These kids now, you know, someone came up to me and said, I had a Dead Space t-shirt on the other day.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh yeah, I love playing Dead Space. And I was talking about it with it. And then I think they were only like a few years younger than us.
Yeah.
But then they were like, oh, I've only played the remake. And like I died a little inside. I was like, oh, that's what Dead Space is, isn't it? It's not the 2008 version. That's Cowboys now.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, RE4, OG RE4, 2005.
Yeah.
That was my entry point. The first version I played was the Wii edition.
Yeah, that always baffles me. It's so funny.
I can't imagine
so
playing it.
So you played it with the nunchuck and the...
Every time you aim the gun, aiming it with the thing. Yeah, mate. And I'm pretty sure, like, to knife, you'd have to, like, swipe. Like...
I actually feel like that would actually be a sick way to play it. And I actually feel like wouldn't be, like, maybe slightly easier.
It's a bit like...
Because you can motion control the aim.
Yeah.
It feels like you can be more fluid with it, as opposed to, like, the analog stick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I also think it's perfect, actually, for aiming like that with a Wii Remote, because you have to stand still to aim.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were running around and doing that, I think that'd be a bit much.
Yeah.
But I remember having a lot of fun with it. I mainly bought it because the Wii just didn't have any, like, adult games. Like, there wasn't anything like that, and anything with, like, kind of like a deeper system.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, you know, you had your Marios, you had your great games, but I was really craving stuff at the time that was on, like, the PlayStation and the Xbox that I didn't have at the time.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like to fill that void. And I loved it. I was absolutely blown away. I remember the first night I played it, I, like, went to bed, Mum went upstairs, Mum went to bed, and I ran downstairs quietly, put the TV on, and I played it. And I had school the next morning, I still played till like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Regretting nothing.
Yeah, no.
I think I got up to, like, when him and Lewis are, like, holed up in that cabin. Like, that's how far in I was just, like, playing incessantly. But yeah, that game blew me away. Loved it so hard. When was the first time you played RE4?
So, man, it's a weird one because I have memories of the game, but I don't remember. Like, I remember watching people play it. I think it was like, it wasn't my uncle, but it was like a cousin or someone I watched play it, and I watched a lot of, like, videos at the time, like, around things on, like, those games, and I used to get a lot of gamer magazines when I was a kid, and I used to. I wasn't actually allowed to have Resident Evil at that age, especially Resident Evil 4 when it came out.
Yeah.
My parents were like really funny with like me playing anything like that.
Yeah.
So I never really got a chance to play it. So it was always through like vice versa. So like I kind of see a lot of the game before I really got my hands. I think I played like a level or something.
Yeah.
But I think 5 was actually probably the one that I actually played for like most of the way through.
5's the one I remember like our kind of peers and friends at school all were getting into Resident Evil playing because it was a big co-op adventure.
Yeah.
And we recently co-opted it again, didn't we?
Yeah, that was sweet.
I think it still holds up tremendously well as a co-op adventure. I know people complain about the AI Sheva.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games like, are you really buying it to play it by yourself?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
As a criticism, it's always weird to me.
Yeah. I get it though, if you're a fan of the Resident Evil franchise and you've played it like that way and now you want the new one, it's like, oh God, I need a friend to play it with.
But it's a lot of fun because that Resident Evil 4 gameplay loop with a buddy.
Yeah. Oh, it was so
fantastic.
Fun. So much fun.
Like, so much fun.
I mean, we're talking about booting it up again on Veterans. So.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go all the way. I want to platinum that.
Same.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Did you ever play 6?
Never played 6, but I remember, I think I came with you to when you bought it, and you and a friend of ours, like co-opted like a couple of levels, and then I went home. So I think you guys continued playing it.
Right.
But I watched a little bit of you guys play at the time. But yeah, I just want to basically clarify that Resident Evil has become like a new love for me. It wasn't something that I liked it. I always liked it, but I never really delved deep. And then I bought the Resident Evil 4 on the Switch like later on. Yeah. And played through it. But of recent, because of the new game, I was like, you know what? Let me check some of these games out again. You know? And I started with. Weirdly, I don't know why I started with RE3 Remake. I know I should have started with 2, but I think...
Did you buy them both at the same time in the store?
No, I had 3 already, like I think for like a plus thing or something. So I was like, oh, let me just play this one because I've already got it, And I had Biohazard because of the VR. I had the VR at the time, but I only played like a little bit of it.
Biohazard, which
is it Biohazard? The 7.
Oh, okay. Is it called, well, they're all called Biohazard in Japan.
Yeah, in Japan, yeah.
But is it called Biohazards in the UK on the store? That's interesting.
It's like Resident Evil 7 and then there's a subtitle. Is it not Biohazard? Maybe I got that wrong.
I don't know.
Or something.
As far as I know, it's RE1.
Yeah.
Well, RE, RE2, RE3, RE0, RE Code Veronica, RE4, RE5, RE6, just RE7.
Yeah.
RE8 Village, RE9. Oh, well, RE9 isn't even RE9, it's just RE Requiem.
Yeah.
And then obviously Resident Evil 3 is Resident Evil Nemesis.
Yeah.
But I think that's all the subtitles. Yeah. I think.
Why do I have that in my head? Because I know that's what they call it in Japan, don't they?
Which I like the name Biohazard, but Resident Evil is just iconic as a title. Well, that's perfect.
Oh, it's such a good, memorable title.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Do you know what? To loop this back round to some film stuff, I've been going down some rabbit holes for Resident Evil. Thought you might find this interesting. I also weirdly at the same time started really getting into George A. Romero's filmography. I'd watched some of his movies before, but I really delved deep this time. And did you know that he was very close to directing a Resident Evil movie?
Oh, that's mental.
Yeah.
What did it end up dying, or was it what became the first one? The Paul W.S. Anderson one?
Yeah, so it's going to hurt you because he was doing I'm pretty sure it was the first game, and it was basically he was staying very true to the video game, and people basically that he turned the script in, and people said the script apparently was amazing, but they gave it to the studio, and the studio were like, this is not what we're looking for. It's too similar to the game. It's got too much horror, and we want more action. He's like, it's too much of a slow burn.
So it had like the characters in like Chris Redfield, Jill.
Like, yep.
A proper adaptation.
Yep. And you can actually watch. And the reason why they was going to hire him is because he directed a trailer for Resident Evil 2.
Oh, okay.
So, or like it's like a little short film.
Yeah.
It's actually online, so it's called Biohazard. George A. Romero.
Oh, that's sick.
And there's someone cast as Leon, and there's like it's like proper George A. Romero, like the way they've lit it and stuff. Like it's really cool. And apparently they were so impressed by that like Capcom was like, we want him to do the thing, but the studio or whatever wanted the So it's like one of those lost things. But a documentary I think there's a documentary coming out this year, or it's already came out last year, about the whole process of that movie not getting made.
Oh,
so I want to watch it. So just thought that would be a fun little thing to talk about just before we...
On that note, the Paul W.S. Anderson ones,
yeah,
I think I've seen the first 2, but they just kept on going. Kind of ludicrous.
So many of them.
I guess they were profitable.
It must have been.
But the first one I think I do have a soft spot for. Second one I remember being like kind of fun.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, like, how we've never really gotten proper Resident Evil adaptations. The first one just created this character of Alice, and she ends up leading the whole saga, and she's almost like more of a BOW like Wesker, where she's got like powers. And then like they eventually introduce some of the game characters. Like they even get as far as like Chris and Leon.
I've seen some clips.
Yeah, and it's like they all look like weird Play-Doh versions of characters that aren't quite right.
Yeah.
Especially Leon. It's not right. And Chris Redfield's the guy from Prison Break.
They look like
Wentworth Miller.
Yeah. They look like, you know, if you go to like a, I don't know, like a Disneyland and you see like a reenaction of like the movie scenes, like they just don't, like they look like they're wearing wigs and they just don't look right.
And the timeline's all wrong.
Yeah.
But they go full on apocalypse with it. Yeah. Like where the world's just fucked.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that they made so many of those, but they're kind of their own thing.
Yeah.
But then also the games that kind of reflect them back. Like in Resident Evil 4, there's that whole laser grid room. That's all based off the film. It's a reference to the film. So like they kind of loop back in.
Yeah.
But then there was that awful Resident Evil movie that felt like a streaming movie that I actually thought was kind of a novel idea in that it was already 1, 2, and 3 basically all at once because it's all it's a
that called Raccoon City?
Yeah, it's called Welcome to Raccoon City.
I do remember that came out.
So you had like essentially like the Leon storyline and the Chris and Jill storyline all going on at once.
As well.
It's a good idea. Film sucks.
Yeah.
Then there was I didn't even watch it. The awful Resident Evil Netflix show.
Oh, I heard about this.
The only clips I've seen are Lance Reddick as Wesker, which is a Reddick. Rest in peace. Absolute tank.
Legend, yeah.
Not right for Wesker.
No.
And then the only other clip I've seen is, I think the infamous clip you've probably seen of like the woman singing Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, no.
Like Resident Evil has cheese, but that is not Resident Evil.
No, yeah.
And then this new film I am excited for. I like Zach Cregger.
Yeah.
I get it's cool that like it's going to be like, from what he says, like the functionality of a video game, like the inventory management and the survival horror aspects adapted for a film. I think that'll be really interesting. And it's the guy from Weapons who is really fun. I forget the actor's name, but
drug dealer
he was like the stoner guy, wasn't he? Yeah, or like the drug addict in it.
Yeah.
But I am a bit disappointed that it's not just like, can we just get a proper adaptation of Resident Evil? Can we just get like the first game storyline, or like even if they started with 2?
Yeah.
Because I do feel like the remakes have really repositioned Leon as the main character.
Yeah.
Like we have different protagonists, but I feel like his arc from 2 remake to 4 remake to this to Requiem is kind of like a real clear through line, and it feels like the remakes were kind of made with that in mind to get us to 9. But I don't know. It just would have been cool with the film. Just give us some characters, or give us some plot lines from the game. But we'll see. I think it could be cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. No, I get what you're saying 100%. I think it'd be interesting. I'm intrigued why. I think from what I've heard, it was like he had a good idea for a script, and Resident Evil, he was like, it's kind of like Resident Evil, and then they were like, right. From what I've heard, I don't know.
It'd be interesting if it feels like in the finished product.
Yeah.
But we're a bit of a Resident Evil renaissance right now because we've got 9, and then that's since like September, the film, so it's pretty sweet. But
and it's the 30th anniversary this year.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Wow, Jesus. It's your 30th anniversary as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just getting back onto the history of Resident Evil before we dive into 9, because I do think it's actually 9 is very much, we can get more into it, but it's a culmination, I think, of so much Resident Evil.
I agree. I think that's why it's good that we've been given all this context, because I do think it feels like the big.
It does.
Like team up,
particularly like in that it's sort of similar to lots of different games in different ways. But I played 6 and I enjoyed it. And I do get why people don't like it. I do think it's the furthest departure away from what Resident Evil is supposed to be. But I do appreciate all the extra mobility controls and the attempt to make it really fast paced and hyperkinetic. And I do like that it's kind of almost like, it came out in 2012, the same year as the first Avengers movie, and it does feel like the Avengers Resident Evil. Like Leon and Chris finally meeting, back, you can play as a Leon campaign, a Chris campaign, an Ada campaign. There's this new character, like the son of Albert Wesker, like it feels like just like it's
pure fan service one.
Yeah, and there's a lot of content in there, and I do appreciate that for it. But I see why they kind of soft rebooted the series. However, Granted, I'm a massive fan of that third person over the shoulder rebrand era of Resident Evil. Not so much, not a fan of the fixed camera angle stuff, but I've just never really delved into it. I actually think after doing these games, it would be nice to go back to that and get a full-fledged perspective on Resident Evil. But yeah, definitely a fan of that section, but I completely skipped the Ethan Winters saga. 7 and 8, and I know I'm really fickle about this, but I actually think now we've come back round to 9. Weirdly, I think a lot of the fan base kind of felt like that as well, and that's why they've kind of gone the way they've gone. I don't want to play Resident Evil in first person, and I want to play as some of the mainstay characters. I'm not necessarily against there being a new main character, because obviously, like we've got Grace Ashcroft in this, and that really works.
100%.
But it just felt so divorced from what Resident Evil is supposed to be. Yeah. I'm not into it being first person, and then they dropped the third person version in 8. But even then, it's like, I think that game could be fun. I actually do think I'm going to get around to properly delving into it.
Yeah.
But it's like lichens and like vampire type stuff, and like this one guy in it has like seeming like Magneto telekinesis powers, and I'm like, this just seems really far removed, really down the supernatural road of what Resident Evil was supposed to be. But I want to give it a fair shake. I think I will probably never play 7. Maybe I could play 8 properly.
Yeah. 7 just seems like that scene from what I've played. That scene in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like a whole game.
Well, the whole thing is basically that family, I think.
Yeah.
Like they're the threat.
I think it is. Yeah.
I mean,
do you know what it is? It's one of those things where it's like, I like the idea of it as a game, but it's like as a Resident Evil game, is that what I want from a Resident Evil game?
I do think it's weird as well when like there is significance to numbering them.
Yes. Yeah.
Although we were talking about this before the podcast, it's actually interesting that Code Veronica to me has always seemed, based on the plot developments, has seemed like go away, fly. Has always seemed like a numbered Resident Evil, like a mainline series Resident Evil. But it's funny that actually was going to be Resident Evil 3.
Oh really?
Yeah, but then I think they couldn't get it to work for the current gen of consoles. They pushed it back. They delayed it, and what became Resident Evil 3 was supposed to be a spin-off. And when you look at the storyline of that,
it makes a lot of sense.
Makes so much sense because 3, it's in Raccoon City again. It's happening as 2's happening. It feels like a side story.
It doesn't really progress much of the story. No. It's just like you said, a spin-off.
And it is more action oriented. So that, all the hallmarks of that is spin-off.
Yeah.
Code Veronica is Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3 Code Veronica.
Yeah.
And the other one is Resident Evil Nemesis, and it's just a Raccoon City spin-off. But it's funny how they number them, because that makes, to be honest, like Code Veronica is basically Resident Evil 4. And then Resident Evil 4 is basically Resident Evil 5, and so on and so on. But it's interesting. Maybe I would have found it more palatable if RE7 was something else, and RE8 was something else. Because it does feel like RE9 feels like, for me, the first time I've been properly excited by Resident Evil. Leon's back, the third-person perspective, the combination of like the action and the horror, which is what kind of connected me into the franchise. I feel like this is the Resident Evil I've been missing for a long time. But interesting. I wonder how you feel about like this combination, right? I played the whole thing in third person.
Yeah.
On that note, I can see how the first person elements were maybe like 7 and 8 for Grace. But for me, Grace's stuff was RE2 remake. Leon's sections amongst the Grace stuff was pure RE6. And then when you finally got control of Leon for long stretches, it was like RE4.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was such a nice combination of basically all of the Leon games into one game. I feel like they've really nailed taking the horror aspects and putting it on one character, and putting the action aspects on one character, and then not having 2 campaigns you can choose when to play, having one campaign that weaves amongst each other. I think it's been a masterstroke.
No, I think it's one of the rare examples of something that's tried to please everyone and actually has.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it really, like, is a video game company showing that they've really listened and gone, all right. So we got this one fan base here that loves the first person horror stuff.
Yeah.
There's other fan base here that loves the action stuff.
Yeah.
How can we give them both, and also still give the other one the option to play the game how they want to play?
Yeah.
So like you can still play the Leon stuff in first person if you really preferred that stuff.
It's mad to think of playing Leon in first person.
Yeah.
Like that is insane to me. But I just love that you have the choice.
Yeah.
And I love that. I would have still played it Grace first person, Leon third person if they made it that way.
Yeah.
But what I do like is the third person with Grace doesn't feel like tacked on. Like you can play it in third person and still feel like it was meant to be played that way.
Yeah.
And I just think it's all the better for it. Because I love RE2 Remake. I love RE4 Remake.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm able to enjoy both aspects of this.
Yeah.
Even the horror stuff isn't necessarily what I came to the game for. Like, I'm a Leon fanboy. I wanted to play as Leon. I wanted to see Leon again. But I ended up loving not only Grace the character, but Grace's sections. I think everything in the care centre with her is fantastic. Yeah. I saw someone say that Resident Evil were basically escape rooms. And I'm like, that is what is so satisfying about it, isn't it?
So true, yeah.
It's the process of like, oh, I found this item, or I've gotten to this door that's locked, and it's all the way over here, and I've actually realised, oh, maybe this thing could go with this thing. And you're problem solving and puzzle solving the whole time.
I actually really like that about the Resident Evil games, that I feel like they don't, like in an era where I feel like a lot of games treat you like an idiot, I feel like they don't. Like, obviously, I'm not saying that these ones are definitely easier, I'd say, than maybe some of the earlier ones.
100%.
But I still like that they've kept that whole, like, oh, you've got this, I've got to get this gem, and there's a puzzle here, and you've got to make sure that you're picking up all the items and reading all the notes. And I like that. I like that there isn't someone prompting you going, maybe I should look over in the...
For this gen, it's not hand-holding.
No.
I think compared to like previous Resident Evils, it is hand-holding.
I agree.
But I completely agree. Like, I love just like, oh, I've got this pencil and there's this notebook. Maybe I can like shade it in and reveal, what this combination for this item box is. And it's just so cool, like having to avoid combat in those sections. Because when I first played RE2 Remake, I was a proper RE4, RE5 boy. And I remember when I got it, I was expecting, oh great, I'm going to blast through this as Leon. And I thought because they remade it third person over the shoulder, that it was going to be like that. And I was really shell-shocked to be shooting all the zombies in every room I came into, and they weren't dropping any items. I was very quickly running out of stuff, and I was like, what the hell? This wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And the game forces you to play the way it wants you to play, which is you avoid combat at all costs, basically. You're gathering as many resources as you can so that when you do have to fight, you're ready. But even then, it's like I still need to be careful of like what ammo I'm using and what resources I'm using. And that's really fun in its own distinct way to Resident Evil 4. I'm a big Dead Space fan as well. And I think playing so much Dead Space and playing so much Resident Evil 4 and 5, I like the kind of horror action games where you kill the enemies and they drop loot. So basically you're sustained by fighting. Like fighting more enemies gives you more loot, allows you to keep going. Whereas 2 is the complete opposite of that, and kind of with Grace's stuff as well, where it's like, no, you actually... if you fight them head on, you're gonna expend all of your resources way too quickly. And I love that. It's like, especially with the big girl, and all those sections where you're sneaking around her. I found that stuff way more satisfying, to be honest, than Mr. X in RE2 Remake, because RE2 Remake, it is cool, but he's just constantly following you. Whereas I really like that it's like she drops in and you can like sneak around her, and you never know when she's gonna drop again. It felt a bit like Alien Isolation in that sense.
Yes, and also like she felt very like quite clever. Like when I'd go somewhere, I feel like she knew immediately where I wanted to go, or like I thought I could outsmart it, but I'll go over here and then I'll go over there. And a few times it caught me off guard, and I was like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting it to be as smart as that.
Particularly on the highest difficulties.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I completed on Insanity, and there was a couple of times where she would just drop down in front of you and murk you, and I'm like, right, now I've reloaded the save, I've got to think about like how can I actually outsmart her.
100%.
I loved. Did you love the basement section? I thought that was great.
I loved that when you had to put the like batteries in the.
That
was really because. Yeah, because there was a few times where I thought, hold on a minute, I don't think she can come in this room because there's a lot of light. And then next minute I know, I was like, oh no, she's in the room.
And removing the batteries would cause the lights to go. So it's like, oh well, fuck, now I'm in danger.
Did you play any of it in first?
No.
So I played like a good chunk of Grace's bit. Well, I say good chunk. I played up until around that bit with Grace in first person. And it got to a point where I was like, fuck no, I need to turn this off. Because it's this weird thing where like, I understand that the horror comes from me not being able to see around the corners. But like, in third person, I found it frustrating, not necessarily from a scary point of view, even though it did make it more scary. It was more just like, I should be able to see more of this just as a human eye in general. It was kind of annoying me, like, oh, I can only see that much. But that's just, again, my taste with, like you said, I prefer third-person games in general, really. Like, I like very few first-person shooters that I...
But when a first-person game is suited to first-person, I'll get turned for that.
Oh, 100%.
Like the Robocop games.
100%.
I love that they're in first person, but I think it's all to do with like you're pushing the game forward.
Yeah.
I'm engaging in action. I'm always kind of moving forwards. Whereas Resident Evil to me is I'm looking everywhere around a room.
That's the thing. Yeah.
That seems a bit disorienting to me, like constantly spinning around.
Same. Yeah, same.
That's third person.
Whereas like Borderlands is like one of my favourite games of all time. Particularly Borderlands 2 is like that feels perfect for first person. I wouldn't want it in third person.
Yeah, that would be weird.
That'd be weird, right?
Yeah.
But
Call of Duty, I won't want to do first
no,
person.
exactly. No,
like,
defeat the points. Yeah, defeats the point. But yeah, so yeah, I switched to third, and I thought it would be weird because I thought, oh, maybe the game's not, her section's not built for that.
Yeah.
But I found it fine, found it just as scary.
Yeah.
The only thing I think you do lose is a couple of times where, when you go up the stairs to grab like an ID card and that chunk, I think he's called.
Oh yeah.
Jumps down at you.
Yeah.
In first person, fucking awful jumps, like horrible.
Yeah.
Shit my pants. In third person, when I actually, because I died, I actually do it again.
Yeah.
I just switched it. I was like, fuck this, I'm putting it in third. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Because you kind of, you're a bit removed from it.
Yeah.
But I still think it's
just
as terrifying. I still was shitting my pants a few times.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I think one of the creepiest sections, although ironically one of the least replayable sections, and again full spoilers, is when we flash back to finding out kind of about Grace's origins of how there's a lot of cloning going on in this whole game.
Yeah.
Like there's all the evil kind of Grace Emily clones with the red eyes, isn't there?
Yeah.
And then it's so heavily implied that Emily is a clone of Grace, right?
Yeah.
And then the other clone of Grace in the present becomes the big girl, right? She scurries out the hole in the cell. So like, and then obviously, again, full spoilers. There's basically a clone of Wesker. It's never confirmed, but he talks like Wesker. He moves like Wesker, doing his Matrix stuff.
Yeah.
He dresses like swaggy like Wesker. He's a clone of Wesker, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then there's that line at the end where Victor Guillen's like, "You're an imitation." He seems genuinely hurt by that. I'm like, he's a clone.
Yeah.
But I do like they never say it explicitly.
No, I do like that.
But there's definitely like the theme of clones and copies is present throughout, isn't it? Because also as well, like even in the gameplay, it's regurgitations of other Resident Evil games, but putting it together is what is giving us something new, isn't it?
100%.
And that's kind of like similar to, I think thematically it's really sweet that Grace finds Emily and they're sort of renewed in their lives at the end, aren't they? Yeah. Although I must say, I know we're kind of veering more into plot here. I really thought it was fucking awesome and dark that they killed the kid halfway through. And not only did they kill her,
You have to shoot it for fucking.
but also she turns into a nasty looking creature.
Yeah.
She gets fully mutated.
Horrific, yeah.
And they do play it like it's stuck as a decision.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Leon's just like, "Well, I didn't hit any of her vitals." And then it turns out, even though she mutated, you could stick her with Elphys, and she'll just like emerge out of a cocoon of the creature. It's very convenient.
Yeah. That was a little bit of a shame.
It is, but also like,
I
it's
get
right
it.
for the story.
Yeah, it is right for the story, but yeah.
But it's gnarlier, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I do think though, Grace, from all the Resident Evil games I've played, is probably one of the best new characters, and actually one of the best characters. I just feel like they actually really spent a lot of time to build that depth in her. I feel like she was really interesting. Like I feel like a lot more interesting in. I feel like sometimes in Resident Evil games they're definitely like Joe Ultimate Cop or whatever, or
John Resident Evil,
or whereas I like that she is like flawed and like she starts off as like a coward and then eventually becomes like a badass by the end. But then and also has like so many disturbing revelations throughout. I thought she was a great character, and
it's sad when she's like, is Alyssa even really my mum?
Yeah.
Like, was I grown in this lab? And again, we never get confirmation on that side.
No. But it's kind of
it seems like she was,
yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, no, it was really, I really enjoyed the Grace side. I think, like going in, we were both a bit like, just give us all the Leon. But then by actually the end, while I played it in the game, I was like, I loved the Leon stuff. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But it was possibly like the Grace stuff felt the most fresh and the most, what made it unique as well.
But I think it handles it so perfectly because I get all the Grace stuff loaded in the first half. And then when I'm like, the Leon stuff is cool, it's really satisfying to go back through the same place you were just in. And like, the memes are so accurate of like, when you're playing as Grace, it's like, I'm terrified. Then you switch to John Wick mode, and then you're just laying waste to them, and that hatchet is so satisfying. The kills of the hatchet,
satisfying.
and when you do like the kung fu kick into the wall, when you smash their head against the wall, fantastic.
Kicking
beautiful.
Zombies off of like that area in Raccoon City, when you're like up on the high rises, kicking them just off the building, was so satisfying.
It was so
satisfying.
But I love that you then got to slow everything down. And then explore Raccoon City, and you're kind of doing your own kind of like escape room quest of finding the different items. But now you're with Leon, and now you finally get to upgrade your weapons, and it slows it all right down. But I think that's the perfect time to do so.
And whilst it's slowing it down, you're getting kind of the nostalgia trip of going through all the other beats, seeing the police station and Raccoon City itself. And then it's also one of those things where like I think in a video game you can do fan service a lot classier than in a movie. Sure, Hunk's gonna walk in, Mr. X is gonna walk in, because I want to fight them. Like I'm engaging in this. There's a ludic element. You know, it's not just like the Avengers where like someone pops in and goes hi. The Hunk fight, so much fun. That was a real surprise because we've never in a Resident Evil game, to my knowledge, had a full on fist fight with someone that I know of. Like with hand to hand, because obviously like you shoot Wesker and stuff, but you actually get to proper fighting with the hatchet, which really versus cool. Hatchet. It's really cool. It
was really sweet. Also, it's so satisfying when you finally get him, particularly on Insanity, because that was easily the toughest part of Insanity. When I finally started the animation where he jabbed in the neck, I was literally like, oh yes, it felt like fighting a Dark Souls.
It was so,
I was like, fantastic.
So cool.
Felt like Elden Ring.
I the whole time I think why I love this game as well is that I was as a massive Metal Gear Solid fan, this was pure MGS4 for the Resident Evil franchise to me. Like, particularly with the nostalgia callbacks to all these things. Like, the kind of, this is the last run kind of feel that it has. Well, I definitely felt that until, obviously, towards the end. But of Leon, of like, oh, is he going to make it out of this? You know? Like, this is his last mission kind of thing.
Definitely felt like, I was like, are they going to kill him off?
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad they didn't. I do feel like the way the story's gone, I think it's setting up almost like a big finale to these threads in 10.
Yeah.
And I do think, again, not in RE6 in terms of gameplay, but I do think in terms of like the Avengers level threat, I think we are going to get Chris is in it, Leon's in it, Jill's in it. I think we're going towards that.
Do you know what I thought was going to happen? I don't know if I spoke to you about this. I thought when Leon was like suffering from the virus, I kept thinking, before you get the choice at the end, like before this was happening, I kept thinking, are they going to do something? Because obviously, are they going to do something where like he gets given some sort of cure thing, but it actually turns him into like a Wesker type, where he can do all the fucking stuff. Yeah. Because I was like, in my head, I was like, that's the only way I can imagine him. Either he's going to die, or they're going to do something like that. Yeah. And then we're going to have a fight with Xeno. That's what I thought in my head. Cool. That's what I thought in my head was going to happen. But then I actually like what they didn't do that. But yeah, I was for a while. I was like, I could so see them doing this, especially with how the gameplay was playing and the Hunk fight in general. Yeah, I was like, are we going to end up having is that going to be the final boss?
I kind of like that. There's superpowers in the RE universe, but seldom do you play as those people. You're always a regular guy, just with his wits and his human strengths. Yeah. But having said that, though, the way RE5 left Jill Valentine, she's basically superpowered. Yeah. I would love to do a game with the new version of Jill post that. That would be great. That would be like amped up, because like when you play as Wesker's son in 6, you've clearly got like faster abilities. And I'd like to see that character come back as well, to be honest. I thought he had quite a nice arc. But it was interesting the way it all twisted and turned. I think the only thing from a story perspective I found a bit disappointing was in the lead up to this. I do think because I've been turned off a bit by RE7 and 8, they were selling everything on like the care centre and Grace, and I kind of thought Resident Evil had kind of thought it had outgrown the sillier elements, particularly as well like with, as much as I do like RE4 Remake, I knew they were going to tone down some of the cheese from RE4. You know, there's no giant Salazar robot chasing you. Some of the lines are a bit toned down, and I'm like, I get why they do that, but it's a shame to me, because I think the cheese is a smaller percentage of the horror to Resident Evil, but it is still there, and it is part of the fun. 100%. So I was really surprised and happy that it does end up going full Resident Evil. Yeah. You get your Albert Wesker clone dodging bullets. You get a massive lab at the end. You get like Victor Gideon turning into a nemesis creature.
You get Leon doing his one-liners, which I think are some of his best one-liners, because they're like, they're actually well written. I think a lot of them in these, like not like the others weren't, but like
Yeah.
they're a lot more like cheesier.
I especially
There's,
loved when he like zooms over on the motorbike and Sherry's like, how's it over there? He's like, a few potholes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
But it was cool that it went full Resident Evil, and I'm really glad that it did, and I got that feeling again.
Yeah.
But I do think we could have, where the maturity could have come in, is like some of the resolution to characters. I think particularly the villains, I think, are kind of a bit undercooked. Victor Gideon, he's got a great presence.
Real shame because I think he starts really strong.
Yeah.
Like I was like, he is great. Like he might be up there, one of the better Resident Evil villains. And then he kind of falls off.
Yeah.
And then and I really thought, is he really just gonna go out
on the bike chase?
And then to bring him back later, there was a part of me that was like, oh, that's cool because I didn't like that he went out so easily. Yeah. But at the same time, I was like, it felt kind of cheap of like, oh, now you turn up and now we're just going to kill him. Like, I felt he was going to be more of a lasting. Yeah. Like one of them felt like they had to be a lasting.
But I think it's that push and pull with him and Xeno, where when Xeno's introduced, he feels like, oh, now he's the big bad. Yeah. And I know it's obviously a surprise that he's in it, and it is really cool. I do like that we've got a Wesker clone in there, and it does open the door to like, well, if Wesker could be cloned, are they almost going down a Palpatine's returned thing with Wesker, which I actually think in this franchise would work way better. Because as well,
it's a nutty franchise anyway.
Yeah, it can go there.
Exactly.
But also, Wesker dying in 5, I think they shot themselves in the foot a little bit with that. Yeah, like, because he's easily the most entertaining villain of the whole series, and he does feel like an ultimate big bad. Yeah. And it makes sense in 5.
The best thing about 5.
He is the best thing about 5, but it makes sense that it's like the ultimate clash showdown between him and Chris.
Yeah.
But the fact they do commit to killing him off, and then haven't brought him back since. Yeah. I am like, if we are trying to like really give this a big finale, it does feel like a shame he's not in it.
Yeah.
So it is nice that they've introduced the clones because it does open the door for that. Yeah. But at the same time, maybe they should have had more balls and more gumption with Victor Gideon, developed him a bit more. I feel like he could have just been the villain for the whole game. He didn't need Xeno.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah. And
he could have really been built up to a satisfying climax at the end. Like he could have been the one going to Grace, come with me and I'll show you Elpis. Yeah. And we'll release it and stuff. Like, like rather than it being Xeno taking that mantle. Yeah. And I thought it was also, again, super full Resident Evil, full Japanese gaming like feel, for better or for worse, that this doctor, a man of science, a kind of like chunky, he's obviously infected with like T virus or whatever, but he's or G virus or Nemesis virus, whatever. He's amped, but he's still like a man of science. He's not a warrior. And he doesn't display himself as that throughout the whole story. And then suddenly, he's pulling wheelies on a motorbike, firing rocket launchers. He's keeping up with Leon S. Kennedy in a motorbike chase. Yeah. And then, after all the sort of the aura he had in a horror sense, suddenly, he's driving next to him going, I've had enough of you. And then he's having like and also it was so funny, his fake out death where he sort of wobbles the bike, goes off the side, and you just hear
so good. I love that they have a motorbike like Leone standoff before he goes off, but yeah, it was so weird, like the jump that he takes from being like you said, just one of the scientists, and you're reading all these files, he's just one of these scientists that like had all these things. Oh, and now he's like a super fucking like,
and now he goes.
Yeah.
Oh no, but he's back again.
Yeah.
That was unsatisfying.
And what's he been doing the whole time? He just turns up, just so happens to turn up in that point of the
But I think the hero's journeys were well done.
Very well done. Yeah.
And then of course the gameplay loops, so satisfying, so satisfying. But people have been really criticising the Raccoon City bit.
Okay, yeah. For what reasons? Because I could
pacing, I think mainly, and that you're spending too long on that Leon section, and that it's not as well designed as the Grace stuff.
I could understand that. I can understand that. I did think that it felt like a bigger bit and it was longer. But I get what they're saying. I don't know if it was as well designed or it did feel a little bit more like a bit more of here's a sandpit of go play. But in terms of where things were, didn't feel like it set up for a lot of good scares, with the exception of maybe the giant spider bit, which.
That freaked me out more than anything with the grey stuff. But it's because I really hate spiders.
Well,
I'm not a spider guy.
if you play RE3, I still haven't been more freaked out by anything yet. There's these spider things in it. I just really don't like the way they move. I really don't like it. It's only a little section, but I really don't like it. And even when I played it through on Inferno, which is above Insanity, they do like another one on the game. Yeah. But I was
You're Chaz Redfield. You're Chaz Redfield.
I had all the rocket infinite ammo, everything. Yeah. And still, I was like, get me the fuck away from these fuckers. It was horrible.
Yeah, it's just there's something about insects that I just like the way that spider was animated. It moved really well.
I didn't like how close it got to you. I did
it was real like Return of the King vibes. With that, was the spider called that Shalob or something?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's been a long time.
Can't remember. But really freaky. Really didn't like it getting anywhere near to me.
I think the last game to do that to me was like Elden Ring with those giant like hand spider things.
Yeah. But it's what creeps you out, isn't it? Yeah. For me, it was a really well done sequence.
Yeah, like that.
But the Raccoon City bit, I get what everyone's saying. I do think something's lost in that. You got these really well designed, tight levels with Grace, with the care center in the basement of the care center, and like the way the zombies all have these personalities, and then you transition to, as you say, a wider open area, a bit more of a sandbox. Still, I think nice level design in the way you're getting different things, like the way you got to get the fuel, the way you got to get the different pieces for the detonator, blah blah blah. But it is like, because it is more action orientated and more open ended, I do think it begets that the zombies are just more generic zombies now. There's not as much in the way of tightly controlled level design. And of course, you've not got the big girl chasing you. So I do understand why people feel that way.
I also think because when you do play as Leon in the house sections, I really liked that. I particularly really liked the chunk fight with him. I thought that was really well designed. The way it would get stuck and smash through, and you'd use it to get to different ammo bits. And I thought that was really good. And I do think it does kind of lose that a little bit with the Raccoon City stuff. But it was also fun to just have,
This is the thing. I feel like if I didn't have that, I would have been like, oh. Yeah. Although I have a question for you.
Go on.
Because I do think by the end of it, I actually came to love the Grace stuff so much that I could kind of think maybe the whole game could have been Grace section, short John Wick Leon section, Grace section, short John Wick Leon section, just repeat.
Yeah.
But I do think I probably would have felt a bit unsatisfied.
Yeah.
But I do think that's probably the best design stuff.
Yes.
That dichotomy of now I'm going to go through and I'm amped up versus the second half of the game, because also you change setting, does feel like a different game in some ways.
And I do feel like you do spend a long time with Grace. I mean, maybe it is when you play it on the harder difficulty, like the speed runs and that, maybe you notice a bit more that they are shorter. But when I was playing the game, it didn't. The Raccoon City stuff didn't. I know it is a bit longer, but it didn't feel that much longer to me than the Grace stuff, because you are doing a lot more puzzly stuff. You have to be a bit more stealthy. You have to play it a bit more slow. Whereas, like you said, I do, and then you play as Grace again, and I feel like you have a good amount with the
and you get the flashback with her.
So I actually found it quite well balanced. I see where they're coming from, but to me, it was the best of both worlds. I mean, I absolutely love this game. I really love this game. I'm actually going back now and playing. I'm going to play through all of them again, because it made me be like, all right, where does this stand in my rankings? Yeah. Because I was like, this is really good. I think 4 is probably still my favourite, because I think OG 4, yeah. I haven't actually played the remake. I will get around to it, but I think that it has the perfect balance of the clever puzzles of Resident Evil 2 and the action of the later games.
Yeah.
And it has the perfect balance of all of that and the horror. I think, like you said, 6 and 5 kind of go too far, maybe one way, where it kind of loses a little bit of that. 4, I feel like it's got the perfect setting, the perfect villains, like the perfect locations, like it just and the puzzles. Yeah, I just think it has the perfect balance of everything for me. But this is very close, man. This is very close. And I when I was playing it, I was like, oh, this might be my second favourite.
It feels like the culmination of all of the design elements of Resident Evil up to now.
Yeah, it really does.
I know what you mean as well, because I'm mulling over. I think it might be my number 2.
Yeah, I'm mulling over as well. I want to play through them all to really decide.
Yeah.
I'm playing through 2 remake at the moment, which a lot of people hold in high regard, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm intrigued to see where that goes. But yeah, at the moment where it stands, but I still need to finish some others. I still have never played the GameCube release of 1, or even any of the releases.
1 remake.
Yeah. Which people consider as like one of the great games of all time.
Yeah.
In general, and for what it does for video games.
I think we both need to go through the fixed camera era. Like to be that full scope Resident Evil fan.
100%.
As it currently stands, having not played the PS1 games and not played the remake, and Code Veronica and Resident Evil 0, but they're all on the PlayStation Store. I do think I'm going to go through
100%. I mean, I've got the fever.
I've got the fever.
I've been bit by the T-virus.
My PlayStation like selection screen on top is like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
Sorry, not 7. 8, 9.
Yeah. Same.
I've started up 8.
Yeah.
Going through in third person. I'm gonna give it a proper shake. But already as I'm playing it, I'm like, it just doesn't feel like it has that polish of 9.
No.
2 had a lot of polish. I think 2's probably neck and neck with 9 for my second favourite. 4 OG at the top. 4 remake probably third. And then
3 is more of the same of 2. But it's very short and it's missing a lot of stuff. I did enjoy it. It's probably maybe a little bit more action in 2. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more.
I feel like the people that hated the 3 remake are probably people that have adore the original game.
Which I can imagine.
Yeah, because I would be annoyed if it cut a load of stuff out.
No, because I actually looked up, because I actually was playing it. I was like, oh, this is really fun. What are they talking about? Finished it, played through it on a speed run, and was like, oh, it's actually a lot shorter than I thought. Googled what was missing, and I was like, yeah, that would annoy me. And then I was like, the more I played through it, I was like, oh, actually, yeah, I'd be cheesed off as well. As much as like I was enjoying it at the time. So yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's you have to kind of see. Yeah. But because I feel like that bit of 4 remake, like there's a few things that are missing. Like the Ada 1 campaign is separate DLC, and I'm like, that feels a bit cheeky. Actually, on that point, there you go. So I think we're kind of in the wrap up stage now. A few more things that, if you want to mention them, now say now, forever hold your Resident Evil, please. But bit strange, Ada Wong isn't in this one. I wonder if we're gonna get DLC of her.
I could so see that, particularly after the most recent release is 4 remake, and it was DLC. I could so see it being.
I know it's kind of corny that she always happens to show up when Leon's there, but I just think it's one of those things. It's like, but that is the story you want.
It's kind of baked in as well.
Yeah, she's in 2, she's in 4, she's in 6. Every time Leon's there in a mainline game, this is the first time she's not been there. Yeah. You know, like it's the ultimate like yin and yang femme fatale. He's like so good natured at heart.
Yep.
She's morally like, you know, a bit dubious. Like it's a great combo.
Yeah.
Kind of wanted her there. Also, like, you know, a lot of people are speculating that he's married to Claire Redfield now. Kind of interesting that she wasn't in the story at all. Not even mentioned.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So kind of want more texture on that. And I'm wondering if I think story DLC is inevitable, as is I think a mercenaries mode. So I think we'll probably get it.
Because they've done that before, like the online stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Is there any other things that you would like to mention about this game?
I think I've said everything. I mean, I'll definitely leave the podcast and be like, oh, I should have said this.
Because I think it is a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to it to unpack.
100%.
2 things I want to mention.
Go on.
I really got Brad Fiedel vibes in Raccoon City.
Oh shit! Yeah, I really did.
Yeah. Terminator 2 score, Brad Fiedel. It felt like it really nailed that feeling. And obviously we're in a bombed out nuclear fallout city.
The clanging sounds.
Yeah.
Like there's I can't even. I mean, I'm not a music person. I don't know what they are. But when we was in the RPD, when we go back there, when you're in the main bit, there was this weird hum, and it sounded a lot like T2. Yeah.
Like it had that kind of, like, it felt like the same instruments.
He
almost.
did, yeah.
Feels very deliberate.
Yeah.
Like we're in basically a Judgment Day city.
We have a motorbike chase.
Yeah.
And we're shooting people.
Again, the motorbike chase, phenomenal. The set piece, phenomenal. Also, what I want to say is there's so many good, almost like movie level set pieces, like the motorbike chase. The first time you get the control of the chainsaw, I was so impressed by the physics of if a zombie like accidentally clips another zombie, it ends up stuck in the other zombie, and then you'll drop it on the ground, it's spinning around. It might hit you, it might hit another zombie, cut their leg off.
I couldn't believe when it hit me. I was like, oh shit!
It felt like a really
Real
dangerous
thing.
element in the room. And then later on, you're fighting like Mad Max zombie, having a chainsaw lightsaber duel.
Yeah.
That was really sweet.
Yeah.
Super, super sweet.
It looked like Chainsaw Man. I don't know. I haven't watched that.
The anime.
I've seen like images from it. And I'm like, it looks potentially probably.
And again,
like...
Resident Evil. It makes no sense this zombie looks like this. They're all like bombed out survivors of Raccoon City. But who cares? It's awesome. It's rule of cool.
Yeah.
Let's have it.
100%.
I also loved the collapsed tower, shooting the glass to get the zombies to drop out.
So good. That was such a good idea.
Yeah,
That
brilliant
was
idea.
sick. That was so sick.
Because it's such a great way to like conserve bullets, but also
You gotta be careful.
yeah, like you might because it's like basically like a bit of a Jenga tower, isn't it? Where it's like if I shoot this glass off, maybe my bit will fall through.
Yeah,
like, that was fantastic.
Yeah, it felt like it was funny. It felt like a Mario level, but in like a R-rated game. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't go on the glass. It's gonna all go
yeah.
But I really enjoyed that. But actually, one more thing I will say that I really liked, I found really creepy about this game, the fact that in this one, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't do this in the other Resident Evils, that the zombies talk as if they're trapped. The human element's still there.
Yeah.
Like they would say things like "help," and you're like, "Oh, that's fucking."
The
creepy.
chef's like working on the broth or whatever, and yeah. I think that's a new element for this one.
Really creepy, really creepy, and and just to tie it all back to Zach Cregger's Resident Evil, I did feel like I got massive barbarian vibes with the big girl.
Yes.
Really badly. Even like, I don't want to ruin that movie too much for people, but those who see it will know what we're talking about. But even when you kind of get like the reveal when you walk past her room, even all of that looks like the stuff.
The way she like
Barbarian.
moans and acts feels super barbarian.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting meld because they must have conceived this character when it came out.
I was thinking this.
The development cycle works there. Yeah.
I wonder if they're fans of, and you never know. Everything influences everything.
Yeah, I mean, this could be the greatest year of Resident Evil in a long time since 2005, maybe. You know,
incredible.
But yeah, I love this game. I agree with you. I feel like there's going to be things that I didn't mention.
100%.
I feel like maybe I'll just close out on. I think what I really enjoyed, and what I enjoy about every Resident Evil is it's one of the best series to go through and do another playthrough. Because on this, I did my no blood, no herb run, where you had to be super strategic, thinking about your health in such a different way to the first playthrough. Did my insanity playthrough, which was like, you know, everyone's stacked against you, but you got your infinite ammo, so you can suddenly not worry about like your inventory management in the same way. Going through the care centre as Grace with an infinite Requiem is a thing of beauty.
I can imagine.
It's breathtaking. I suggest you try it. And then having to go through that same place as Leon, but obviously on this mode, there's no zombies at all. It was really satisfying and eerie. And then the final victory lap, the speed run, that was super fun. Just being like, particularly I think the best part of the speed run for me was the Raccoon City bit. Because when I first played it, that was a really laborious section that went on for a long time because I wasn't sure where to go. Yeah. But obviously, I'd stacked up the playthroughs. By the time I did the speed run, I was like, I need to go over here, get the fuel, I need to come up here, go around here. Yeah. I was on it, and I did it all in about half an hour. And like that was so satisfying to be like, what is the quickest route through this place? I'm honestly just sad it's over. I think maybe the only criticism I would have is one of the easier Resident Evil Platinums. Yeah. One of the easier Resident Evils in general, one of the shorter Resident Evils. Yeah. Kind of, definitely. I could run it all back right now.
I would second, by the way, that I think that the Resident Evil franchise might be like the best in terms of replayability. I'm not someone that necessarily replays games unless I truly love them, really love them. Like, there's very few games I can count that I've played more than twice. And MGS4 being one of them, played that 1,000 times. There you go. But the Resident Evil games, I find every new playthrough feels like a whole way different version of the game. Like you said, the no herbs run, the speed run, the infinite ammo, hardest difficulty run. Like they're an absolute blast. And
it's not necessarily New Game Plus, but it's like now I've got this bonus setting unlocked that completely transforms how I play it. Yeah. Like, it's so awesome.
Yeah. And then putting the restrictions on yourself of, like, the no herbs and that.
Yeah,
like, it all just gives you a different perspective and like, not using the bloodshot device.
Well, I loved that whole mechanic of collecting the blood and then
that was cool.
Being able to stealth kill people. Because the first time I played her run, before I had infinite ammo, I barely used guns with her at all. I was sneaking, injecting people, blowing them up. Like I was never crafting bullets.
Yeah.
Like, and I loved it. But I think when we were speaking about it, us and like another friend, you were both saying, "Oh, I was crafting bullets. I was barely using the injector." So it's like the fact you can do it.
It's mad.
2 different ways is so well done. The only thing I'm sad about with this podcast is I feel like as soon as we shut it off, I'm gonna be like, I really want to talk about
No, 100%. I agree.
I've got a good note to end on, I think.
Go on.
The drip, the Leon drip.
Oh, yes.
That jacket, dope.
Maybe,
the gloves.
it may be peak.
RE4 is peak.
But in terms of peak game, this might be peak.
Even the drip.
This might be peak aura, yeah.
Well, see, I hoard out and I bought the £10 overpriced expansion set where you get the extra costumes.
Yeah.
And then I switched the RE4 brown jacket.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, now we're pod racing. Like, that was sweet. I did a whole playthrough just on that look. I do think it's a contender, the new jacket.
The new jacket, look. And then even
the undershirt,
even the quarter zip with the fucking. I mean,
it's very cool.
And his lines in it are top notch. He's.
Well, you think it could be Goat Leon?
I mean, it could be, and look. You know, 4 obviously set the standard. You know, it's only building upon what 4 did. You know, I'm not saying 4's obviously the GOAT, but yeah, I was quite surprised with how cool they made him in this game.
His hatchet is definitely his best melee.
Insane.
Best melee of the series. Yeah. Because the knife's satisfying. I like that you parry in 4, but having that reach with the hatchet and that swing on it just makes it way more satisfying. More satisfying. It's definitely an upgrade.
100%.
Also, I can't remember if this is the main game or the DLC now because it all just blended into one. But did you unlock like a noir black and white suit? Is that DLC?
I think I did, but I didn't put it on.
Oh, see, I put it on particularly for like the more city stuff, like not Raccoon City. So I was like, now with Leon Wick.
I haven't done my second playthrough yet though, but that's a good point.
No, it felt really John Wick to be in the suit. So that was good. That was great.
Because he's got the kind of hair. He's basically blonde Wick.
Yeah, blonde Wick. So that was very fun. But even like getting to play the RE2 outfit, there's also like an Apocalypse outfit with him, which I think I did my speed run on. That was still kind of cool. Yeah. I mean, the only outfits that did suck, again, Grace. I put her in the jacket for my subsequent runs. I just like her being like
a bit different. Yeah, she's just in the jeans,
you know,
white t-shirt.
Yeah, actually, the only criticism I have of probably all Resident Evil games is they always get a dope jacket and they lose it too quickly. Yeah. And it was the same thing with Grace. It was like, yeah, I guess she's in a t-shirt and jeans, but I thought the jacket hoodie combo looked way cooler. So I kept her in that. But man, I'm gonna give it like a couple of months. I think I'm gonna play it again.
Yeah, I can imagine. I still need to do my other playthroughs. But yeah, I just fancied playing through all the other games.
Yeah,
I will tick off. I'm very close to platinum in 3.
That's the thing. There's so much to play. I'm gonna do 8. Yeah, I'm gonna do 3, and then I think like you, I'm gonna hit up the oldies. Let's really give them a go because I think they'll be their own fun thing.
I'm also tempted. So I want to play the 1 remake, but I'm also tempted to buy the original PS1.
Oh, yeah, because you've got a working PS1 setup, haven't you?
Plugged into a CRT. So I'm like, that could be a fun one for us to try and go
crack over a few beers.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That could be good.
What are you doing right now?
Let's go.